Well, hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to give you a tour of our entire nursery and kind of talk a little bit about how we got to where we are and kind of show you what's going on out here and what's growing and where our empty spaces are this time of year. We're in the earliest part of the summer. We've closed our nursery down for the season, so I think this is going to be a good video today, and I'm looking forward to just kind of showing y'all around and showing y'all what we've built and what we've still got to do, but we've come a really long way. So let's dive in here and let's go have a look. So as soon as you turn in from the road where we were just standing out there by the sign, you turn in our driveway and in our parking lot and you arrive at this area here. And we've shown you guys a lot of what I'm going to show you today in our previous videos going back 1 and 2 years, but we had to gravel this entire area out here, and just to have an area to build our shade houses and to build our hut, our display areas, and to build parking and to build everything, because there was nothing out here when we bought this place. It was just an abandoned open field that was grown up, and we've had to bring all of this in here. So when you come into our nursery now, you just drive in through the front entrance out by the sign, and you come right down here and you just pick a place to park there, over there, back over there, anywhere. And this is kind of our front door into our nursery, is this view that you're looking at here. Now I've stepped over here into one of our shade houses, and you know, we built these and we did videos on how we built these, and I really like having these, and they're just covered with shade cloth is all it is. It's almost like a netting. But there's multiple reasons why we use the shade cloth that we use and decided to go this route with building. Number one, when you drive by here, it looks like a nursery out here. Everybody that comes in or that we meet in town, they say, oh, I know where your greenhouses are. Well, these are definitely not greenhouses, but it serves as kind of something to catch people's eye when they drive by. So there's that, but the shade cloth is actually really helpful to the plants when it comes to, you know, once we get out of the early spring and it starts getting hot, you know, the plants really benefit from being under a light shade. They don't use as much water. They don't look as wilted in their pots as quickly during the day as some plants can look if they're just sitting out in the open. So it also helps define the space out here. You know, we got shade house 1, shade house 2, shade house 3, just to help locate things. And we put different plants in different shade houses, so, you know, they serve multiple purposes, and, you know, we leave them up all year long unless there happens to be, you know, a snow or an ice storm. We have to take them down, but we just remove the covering from them. But generally speaking, it looks like this all year. There's different plants coming out of here in the spring, fast and furious. You know, they're going out and coming back in, but we use these for our sales area. This is kind of a can't miss part of our nursery. When people come up, they get out of their cars, they come straight in here and begin looking at plants. So that's why we have these set up the way that we do. Now by this point in the year, we are approaching July the 1st. It's hot here. We've been 100 degrees a lot of days, and just the real fever and fervor of plant buying season has come and gone. And like, for example, this shade house, we just got a few straggler dead plants left in here and some weeds growing. And this is what we want this shade house to look like by this time of year. I don't need a bunch of plants in here that I've got to keep watered all summer, where I'm just constantly running water. This shade house can just sit here like this until either we have our next plant sale or until we get into the fall season, and then we'll rework the whole thing. But I'm happy to have an empty shade house where there's nothing in here. And, you know, it's kind of just got ransacked this spring when we had our clearance sale a couple of weeks ago. Just wiped it out, and we're really happy about that. So this is just the next shade house over, and it's kind of what it looks like this time of year. Now this is a view that you guys see a lot, and on a lot of our videos I come in and, you know, I do something over here at the potting table or something like that. But this is another one of our shade houses that's basically empty. There's like 30 or 40 plants right over here that I just hand water them every day. It takes no time to do it. But this shade house being empty this time of year also means that I don't have to run the irrigation in here. So that's obviously a really good thing. But having sold out of so many plants, we just don't need it, and we don't need to be using it. So every day when I'm potting or propagating or whatever I'm working on over here at the potting bench, I just come in here and use what I need, and I make the messes that I make. I didn't make any effort to straighten up or clean up for this video. I really just kind of wanted you guys to see kind of what it looks like out here this time of year, for better or for worse. I mean, you know, there's pots everywhere. There's broken pots and used pots down there. There's dead plants right here in front of me. These are pots over here where I've potted up from these into bigger pots. And, you know, there's always something to straighten up. There's always something to clean up. And, you know, I could take just a half hour or an hour out here and do some cleanup and get everything in order. And, you know, I'll probably do that at some point in the not too distant future. But right now it's just kind of early to midsummer work, kind of monotonous days most days. And I spend a lot of time right here. Now this area that you can see here, I don't really show you guys this very often, but just some things that we have out here. We have some loropetalum, some gardenias, we have some flowering quince. I see a oak leaf hydrangea there. Lots of hostas are in here. There's a few rows of Sharon in here, more hostas. We've got hydrangeas in propagation over here. We've got 2 varieties of sedum in propagation right here where I'm standing. I have a few butterfly bush. I've got more hostas right here. I've got more hydrangeas that are growing out here. We call this flat top just because it's flat instead of arch. We call it flat top. But we use this area primarily for grow out. So, you know, we'll propagate plants, then we'll pot them, then we'll sit them here to let them grow out for a while. Sometimes that kind of tender stage between propagation and putting them out in full sun for certain plants, they just seem to do better if they start out kind of under a shade until they harden off really well. So we use this area for that. I would love for this area to be 2-3 times the size that it is, and that may be, you know, an expansion that we do eventually, is to expand this out that way. But, you know, for now it's adequate. But this is a great space. This is like a 60% shade cloth. It's a pretty heavy shade cloth. It gives a great shade under here, and this is a really valuable space for us. And there's always plants coming in and going out of here. Usually, you know, plants will stay in here for a while, and then we'll put them out in full sun if they're full sun type plants. But that's kind of what we use this space for. We could use our shade houses for the same purpose, but, you know, I really like the usefulness of this space in particular. Now this space out here is kind of another area that we use for grow out. It's pretty large in size. It's 3,500 or 4,000 square feet in size. And right now, this time of year, there's a lot of empty space out here. Again, that's a really good thing. We've sold a lot of plants from out of here this spring, and we're just down a lot of plants. There's still a few things out here that we need to throw out or get rid of. There's some coreopsis here that need to be divided, and a couple of things here that we need to propagate or just throw out. But for the most part, this area out here is just another grow out area. So we'll take plants and we'll maybe leave them over there under flat top shade for a little while, depending on the plant. Some of them we just put them straight out in the sun after we propagate them and get them rooted. But this is an area out here. We run the sprinklers out here every day, once a day. Unless it rains, we don't run them. But we run the sprinklers out here once a day, every day. And at any given time, there might be, 8,000 plants or so out here. We're down from that right now. These beautiful roses of Sharon right here in front of me. We'll be putting these up for sale here in a few weeks. But, you know, there's always a lot of plants out here. And one of the things that we need to be working on this time of year is getting more potting done, more plugs potted up and brought out here for grow out, so they'll be ready to sell next year, so, or in the fall this year, depending again on the plant. So this is, you know, this was the first really large grow out area that we built into our nursery when we started building our nursery here about 1.5 years ago. And, you know, we just built it a little bit at a time. There's 20 sprinkler heads out here. And when we first started it, I had 12, and then we expanded it to 16, then we expanded it more to 20. And it's kind of the maximum size that my irrigation system can handle, at least at one time. So we've kind of maxed this space out, but we've got another space like this out in the back. And I really want to take you out there and show you that, because I haven't showed you our space out in the back lately. It's really pretty. There's a lot of nice plants out there, or plants that are really coming on to look nice. So let's go out back and we'll have a look. All right, guys, and this is kind of our grow out area in the back side of our property here. This is about 500 feet, 550 feet or so away from the rest of the nursery, which as I'm standing here is back up that way. But kind of the way that we built our nursery is we built most everything out front, but there's multiple reasons for that. Number one, that's because that's where we had irrigation pipe ran to. So our water comes from the road, and you know, the cheapest way to build irrigation is to not spread it out. So we took as much advantage and got as much use out of the square footage that we had up there. And when we just needed more growing room, I could not see a better way to do it than to just dig the trench and run 500 or whatever feet of pipe out here and, you know, start new grow areas out here. And we can extend this that way as far as we need to. I mean, we can go further than we'll ever need to go in that direction. So that's obviously a good thing, but there's a lot of things growing out here that are really nice. It's starting to look like an actual nursery out here. I mean, it's beautiful out here right now, and I want to just kind of give you a little bit of a look around. One of the things that we've done in the last few weeks that we've started doing is potting up some of our evergreens into larger pots. So just for example, these are emerald green arborvitas right here, and we've just taken these and potted these into 3-gallon pots, which is not like this huge thing, but you know, in order for us to get into a different wholesale market, selling to landscapers and such, we need to get into bigger plants and bigger pots. So this is one of our highlight arborvitas, and I just actually potted these up this week, and this is a 5-gallon here, but this really needs to grow. I mean, this plant needs to probably sit in this pot for a year or so before it's really ready to sell. It needs to basically double in size, but you know, they're just potted up, and that's why we have this area out here, is so we can use it to grow and grow and grow out plants to all kinds of sizes, whether it's, you know, some little small perennial, you know, like this lavender here that's just in a, you know, our regular trade gallon pot type stuff, or it's something like these 5-gallon arborvitas. We want to be able to do just a large variety of sizes of plants, of types of plants, to be able to reach a lot of people with what we have to offer. So that's one of the things we're going for with our grow out area and, you know, all the different stuff we're doing out here. Just to show you a little bit of what's out here, we've got highlight arborvitas right here. Right behind them, those that are more green, those are emerald greens, and there's more of those out there and a few more of those over there and more of those still right in there. So we kind of have them scattered all over the place. So look at these colors. They look so nice. This is more of that hummingbird mint, the agastache I've talked about. It's coming on really nice right here. Lavender right here. Those colors look great together with the yellow coreopsis behind them. They just look really good. I'm so happy about that. But these are columbines down here for next spring. These are the Ruellas or Ruellia, whatever right here, called Raging Cajuns, that are starting to look really pretty. And I've got some nice looking Rose of Sharon over here. I love these, the look of these hibiscus. You know, it's late in the evening. Their blooms are not open really good right now, but they're looking really, really nice. And I'm really happy about the way that they are turning out. Come back over this way. These are some of our Loropetalums left over from spring. Now, they don't look very good right now, but that's because I've just cut them back real hard. So you can see I've pruned these really hard, like right here. And then they're just starting to branch out and put on some of this new growth with this deep red, purple, whatever you want to call that color right there. So if we step over this way just a bit, these are some dianthus here. These are rockin' red. You guys know I've always got some rockin' red dianthus around. Here's our miniature crepe myrtles, our dwarf crepe myrtles. Some of them are just starting to bloom. Like I said, we're going to be starting to put these up for sale really soon. But if you just look across there, they're covered in buds. So, you know, individually, those look about like that. That is a trade 2 pot, so it's about 1.5 gallons. I mean, those things look really, really nice. So looking forward to being able to sell those in a few days. Beyond there, you have a few gardenias out here that we were able to salvage. They're starting to come out. I don't know what they're going to turn into, if they're going to be nice or not. We got a few oak leaf hydrangeas right here that are growing out. A few magnolia trees here that are looking really nice. Got a carex grass here called frosted curls that I'm really fond of, and green giants right down here in 5-gallon pots. Let's see. Right out here, we've got some limelight hydrangea trees that are looking really good. Looks like one of those is blown over. That's become an issue for us out here. We're having to pick these up a lot when we have wind. So we get those picked up. And then over there, there's about 3,500 to 4,000 green giant arborvitas. And I've mentioned this a couple of times, but we'll be selling those to you guys this year. So don't buy your green giants anywhere else. I'll get you a good price on some really nice green giants this winter. So if you're looking to load up on your green giants to build you a privacy screen or to put them in your nursery or to propagate or grow out or whatever, I'm gonna have you covered right here coming up in the winter. So just wanted to show you all this area out here and kind of what it looks like and what we're using it for, and that we've still got some holes to fill in, and we'll find something to pot and put in some of these spaces. So pretty excited about it. Now, another little area in our nursery that, you know, I'd really need to improve it and grow it more and put more out here, but this little area right out in here, I've got some crepe myrtles here, some other crepe myrtles here, my green giants there, I got some hydrangeas there, some more hydrangeas there. Behind the camera, there's more hydrangeas, but these are all plants that the only reason they're planted out here is to take cuttings from. So every year I just cut this thing all to shreds and make crepe myrtles out of this, and make crepe myrtles out of these. And over here on the green giants, I just cut them all up. In fact, you know, I'm kind of torn right now on if I'm even going to do cuttings under mist with green giants or not, or if I'm going to just wait and do them all this winter as hardwoods. I haven't even decided yet, and it's about to be July, and I need to be doing that if I'm going to do it. Anyway, the point is I keep all these watered, I keep them fertilized, so I want them to grow really well and have lots and lots and lots and lots of cuttings. So, you know, if you're going to be doing your own propagation, you can always take cuttings from the plants that you're growing in pots. I take lots of them from there, but to have some growing out in the field, it's a pretty invaluable source of plant material. You're just not ever going to be limited on the amount of cuttings that you can do if you're growing out your own plants in the field or in your yard or wherever you have to do it. So anyway, I thought it'd be worth mentioning just to know that I've got, several dozen plants growing out in the ground that are just permanent that I'll take my own cuttings from every year. Well guys, there's a little tour around our nursery and a little explanation of how things work around here, and I don't know if that leaves you with a million questions or if you enjoyed that or in some way it was helpful to you, but I'm glad you came along today. Listen, before we go, just to let you guys know, in about 2 weeks, got a huge announcement coming up for our channel. Maybe the biggest announcement I've ever made here on our YouTube channel, and I think to some of you it's going to be incredibly helpful. So make sure you're watching in a couple of weeks. Other than that, I love y'all. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.